Golden Spiral Media presents The Blacklist Exposed.
Hello, special agents. You have come to the right place. Welcome to The Blacklist Exposed. I am Agent Troy Heinrichs. We are here with a special edition of The Blacklist Exposed with our Season 1 special archive episodes. The following episode appeared on the TV Talk Network for Season 1 of The Blacklist, and we're bringing it to you here on The Blacklist Exposed, remastered and used with permission from TV Talk. We hope you sit back, relax, and enjoy this special episode from Season 1.
You're tuned in to TV Talk, The Blacklist. Welcome to TV Talk, America's #1 TV talk show network. And now it's time for TV Talk, The Blacklist.
Well, if you have to die by airplane falling from the sky, better to have the jet engine take you out versus the loo. Welcome to another intense episode of TV Talk, The Blacklist. I'm Troy.
And I'm Dave with you again this week for Episode 8, entitled General Ludd, number 109 on The Blacklist, airing November 11th, 2013.
Want to take a quick second to thank Shannon from Baton Rouge, Stuart from Columbus, and Aaron from Chicago. Want to say a big thank you for all of them calling in and answering the talkback question last week. But we had an interesting theory from Doug in Atlanta, and I wanted to play that clip from you right now.
Hi, this is Doug in Atlanta, Georgia. I have another thought about who Red might be. Maybe he's not Lizzie's father. Maybe he's Lizzie's husband's father, and something really bad happened in that in the family house that he went in and ultimately blew up. And the flashbacks he was seeing with this little girl may not have been Lizzie. Maybe it was just his little daughter, and maybe she died because of what, I forget his name now, Lizzie's husband did, and maybe he's just trying to protect Lizzie from him. That's just an idea.
Crazy idea at that, Doug. Thanks for calling in, Doug from Atlanta. So what if Red was Tom's father? Do you think Doug's onto something there, Dave?
I don't know, Troy. He's either onto something or just plain on something. That's one mind-blowing theory right there. But you know what? On The Blacklist, anything's possible.
Yeah, so hopefully we get some answers tonight. And we want to say thank you again to all the iHeartRadio listeners that are back for week number 2. Remember to check out tvtalk.com/win to be entered into the weekly prize drawing, and also get the app at tvtalkapp.com from your iOS or Android device so you can leave your crackpot theories just like Doug did and the rest of his friends also this week. So, answers. Yeah, they teased it last week. We were going to get some answers this week. I don't know if they were spelled out, but I think we have a good idea of where things are going. But we first have to deal with this crazy masked man, Dave.
Yes, it's General Ludd. What exactly is a General Ludd?
Is it a guy? Is it a group of people? The one thing that I really liked is that they actually classified them as Luddites. People that were fighting for economic equality. And all of a sudden I thought I was watching an episode of Continuum rather than watching The Blacklist.
Exactly. It actually turns out that General Ludd is actually a movement more than it's anything else.
And the red masks. What do you think the red masks symbolize? Is it a equality thing that they all look the same, or is it just
I took it to be like a V for Vendetta type thing. It's to make everyone equal.
And of course, this General Ludd character, in the hopes of being equal, he is actually shifting his face so that he doesn't look like the same person. One time he was Roger Guard, another time he was Arthur Denning, but he's actually Nathaniel Wolfe at the end of the day.
Exactly, but the episode opens with one of the most fantastic openings I've seen, with a plane crash scene in a way that I'm not sure we've ever seen it done that way before.
Yeah, I mean, we watched a little bit of Under the Dome over the summer, which had a small Cessna break up and kind of come crashing down. The upward-looking view into the sky as that jet engine kind of came down. Man, was that intense.
It really was. It was very well done. Again, for network TV, some really spectacular special effects done very well.
Were you expecting a plane, or were you expecting something else?
Yeah, I really didn't know. I didn't know if it was a sonic boom, because it's just a man and his son playing in the park, and you just hear like this, whoo. They're like, what was that? Oh, I don't know. And they just start playing ball again, and then there's a body and a shoe and an engine and a wing, and it just goes from bad to worse.
I thought at first it might have been a thunderclap, and then when the boy ran back out, I was all about waiting for him to get struck by lightning with some kind of new, like, ground-to-air, electric conductor device that the feds were testing. Some weird weather mechanism
or something, huh?
Totally, yeah.
But no, it turns out that it was a bomb destroying a plane, and this is how we are ushered into the General Ludd episode.
And what is it with people wanting to make bombs out of fertilizer? It's like, it's bad enough there's an explosion, but has it got a smell too?
It does, and they tied it into the Oklahoma City. I think they were trying to make it like a homegrown terrorism type thing. This wasn't a foreign act. This was an American doing this.
Of course, this is the man that is behind the General Ludd movement, Nathaniel Wolf, but not before Nathaniel has some surgery done. And I guess the question I have for you, Dave, is why are all the plastic surgeons in South Beach?
I don't know. I'm not much into plastic surgery. I'm afraid I can't answer that question, but I'll tell you the plastic surgeon in this episode was played by none other than Mr. Andrew Dice Clay.
Fantastic job,
which I found to be some extraordinarily strange casting.
I think they're just pulling out all of the guest actors that they can pull from anywhere just to be part of the show, because, I mean, it is pretty awesome fall run so far for the Blacklist, and this plastic surgeon, Abraham Maltz. Red has such the best lines, I tell you. He just basically plays Lizzie like a fiddle to basically say, yeah, I work for the FBI. And then Abraham just rolls over like a cockapoo with his belly scratched and squeals away and gives all the information out. And then they totally make him feel bad for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Throughout all of this, while all this action and intense stuff is going on, Lizzie gets the news that her father is ill.
Yeah, so that was kind of the turn for this week that I was like, wow, wait, what? That ruins my entire theory that Red's her father if she has a father that is sick. And then, of course, he's in hospital and he's basically dying from cancer. And it's like, okay, well, where is this going? So how are they going to tie this all together?
Right, and it ends up tying together really well, because what ends up happening is because of this threat, the General Ludd and the Luddites are promising to continue their reign of terror in the skies. So being in our post 9/11 world as we are, of course, the first thing they do is close down the airlines.
I thought that was really great how they explained the fact that Wall Street basically took down Nathaniel's father's airline business. So now Nathaniel is taking down Wall Street with the airlines by causing these companies' stocks to basically bottom out.
Fantastic idea, quite actually. And in one of the scenes in the airport, Nathaniel is sitting there with, he's dressed as a pilot, and he's sitting right next to a Wall Street guy, and they have a very intense exchange.
Now, I really think that it was interesting how when Lizzie's father was in the hospital and she said that I'm going to try to get back to Nebraska by noon, series creator John Bokenkamp is actually from around the area of Kearney, Nebraska. So I thought that was a nice throw-in that he was paying like homage to his hometown.
Yeah, that really is. That'd be information I wouldn't know, but it's really great knowing that.
And then, of course, we have the information kind of carries on throughout the episode. Tom was actually going to try to get out to see Lizzie's dad, trying to leave from Dulles, even though the planes were grounded at Reagan. I actually turned to my wife and said, I can't believe Lizzie is still able to hear, because she seems to be standing next to large vehicles or planes that explode within like feet of her, you know?
Yeah, that seems to happen to her quite frequently. She gets blown around a lot.
What do you think was the point of blowing up the plane while it was still on the ground? What was the intent behind that?
You know, I was wondering the same thing. I don't really know. I kind of got the feeling it was just to take out that guy that he was having the conversation with. Is that what you got from it, or did you get something different?
Yeah, I didn't know if they actually loaded the plane before the bomb went off, because he said he had to go back and get his flight log or whatever, so could you just stow my case? So we don't know if the boarding procedure actually ended up happening. But then again, of course, once the bomb goes off, then everything is grounded in the entire system, which I think was the original plan, was for everything to be grounded so that he could then contract a plane to get off the ground and get to whatever his next destination was.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
The other great thing is, again, Red's just hanging out with the locals, finding some place to sit. And this time he's at a suburban soccer mom's house where they are laundering money to the next level.
Literally laundering money. I mean, this lady has laundry baskets full of money.
I like the clotheslines as they were drying the ink on the counterfeit too, just all strewed up across the thing.
And the look on Red's face was priceless when Liz walked in the door, because he had no idea she was showing up. And of course, he's got that chip in his neck, and she just kind of walks in, and he's like, "Oh, well, hey there, this is one of our mules," and has to kind of escort her out the door.
But of course, they escort her out, and of course, the first thing he does is plants himself on the swing set. I mean, that's typical Reddington, right? Just, I'm just going to kick back and relax here while I have this conversation with you about your father and about the case. And, just make sure you lean back and use your legs to get more momentum.
But we find out that the situation with Lizzie's dad is not good at all. Dad's been kind of keeping the truth from Liz a little bit, and he's actually in much worse shape than she believes.
So this was the interesting part of the episode, right? Because now we're really going to get into some answers, because, if this guy is her father, then what is Red? And Red just, of course, happens to show up right in the hospital room, like nothing's actually going on. And Red starts to have this conversation with Sam, we find out is Lizzie's father's name, and they're just talking like they're old chums.
Sam wakes up from a nap, and Red's just sitting there and says, "Sam, great to see you. It's been too long." And then, they proceed to have a little reminiscing session.
But then things turn a little bit quieter. It's like, so you're not doing so good. And Sam's like, "Red, I got to tell her the truth. It's like, it's been great." And Red's like, "Yeah, I was able to see her and talk to her and work with her, and you've done a good job." Which that immediately was when he said, "You've done a good job," made me go, okay, Red is the father for sure of Lizzie. And the big question I have now is, what happened to have Red give Lizzie up for adoption to Sam?
Yeah, I'm holding out. I'm still not 100% convinced. I don't trust the writers of this show. That just seems like too easy of an answer. But it sure does look like everything's pointing to the fact that Red is in fact her dad. I have to give that up. It really seems like that's where they're going. I mean,
that's the way it kind of all played out. And then especially having this conversation then once Tom finally does actually show up at the hospital, and he's sitting outside having a cup of coffee, pondering, how am I supposed to call my wife? He has this conversation with Red. So we assume at this point, the way they were talking and conversing, that Tom and Red have not officially been introduced to each other or have worked with each other in the past, since, of course, a couple weeks ago, Red was the one that was setting Tom up. But he has this monologue and says, don't worry, the father is always with her, always watching. So is Red talking about Mr. Apple Eater, and Red is actually behind the surveillance and the cameras?
Yeah, I don't know. And I found that whole scene just rather creepy. Red kind of got a creepy look in his eye as they were talking, and he got very intense. At least I took it as that way. And he basically demanded that she will be fine. Tom was like, "Oh, I hope she is. I hope you're right." And he's like, No. I know I'm right. And he just kind of gets up and leaves, and Tom's like left sitting there kind of like going, "Okay, well, that was weird." So I don't know. That whole scene was very uneven for me, just really weird.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I took away from it is he's trying to be as cryptic as he can to say, don't worry, Sam's always with Lizzie, but what he really meant was, I'm always with Lizzie, which just proves even more, I think, that Red is the father.
Prior to that, though, a very important scene where we find out several things. We first find out that Sam really doesn't want to linger. He lets it be known that they've given him 6 weeks to live, and he just wishes it was 6 hours. He doesn't want to sit there and just become a test dummy for these doctors to come in and try drugs on and all these different things. Red puts a pillow over his head and suffocates him.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional scene. I know that sounds rather cold, but the way that they played it, it actually comes across as very touching, and Red actually is crying while he's performing the act.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to hope to see. Were they going to pull back enough and you would actually see Reddington wipe some tears from his eyes? but I think they did a really good job in the way they just had him keep his head buried in the pillow so you could hear him weep, but at the same time you didn't see him weep.
Exactly.
You know, so criminal's never going to show his colors, so he made sure that if he was crying, he was doing it into the pillow. Again, you know, we're assuming that he was crying based on the sounds, but that could have also been Sam breathing underneath. So we're going to pose it out to the listeners this week. Our talkback question for this week is, did Red kill Sam out of mercy or to protect his interests?
That's a great one. I cannot wait to hear what everyone has to say about that.
Yeah, because if you say he's crying, then obviously he kills him out of mercy. But if he wasn't crying, you know, did he really have to kill him? I don't know. I mean, he's basically said, you know, I can't let you do that. I can't let you tell Lizzie the truth. You know, that just will not be good for me right now. So did Red kill Sam out of mercy or to protect his interests?
And of course, at the end of the episode, we're always left with a bit of a cliffhanger that's going to lead us into next week's episode.
And I wrote a bunch of stuff down here because I was just like, okay, so this goes back to the whole, you could have had anything and you search the database for this one thing. So now he's got full access to this database from Harold, and he's basically looking for someone by the name of Lucy Brooks, also known as Catherine Hain. She has the aliases of Molly Paplow, Kara Lewis, Aaron Lissel, and basically we've confirmed from this information that the show takes place basically present day, current time, 2013, as this Lucy Brooks was born on the 5th of July, 1983, so she is at least 30 years old, and her last known address is Maryland.
That's a lot of information. I don't know where they're going to head with that.
So this Lucy Brooks, Catherine Hain kind of takes me back to the Wu Jing episode where he was using that code he got from Wu Jing or one of his partners, the 042983 code. And if you haven't done it already, we know that 042983.com is a website where you can actually go put in that web address and then take part in the Are You on the Blacklist minigame, which is awesome if you connect it to your Facebook account. But he gets this code, he puts it in, he finds the information out of Lucy Brooks. And then I thought about that picture that he took from the Stewmaker episode where we all were kind of speculating that maybe this girl was Lizzie's sister. So they'd be about the same age, about 30. And is that the bad thing that happened at the house that wanted to make Red blow it up? Is that this Lucy Brooks died?
Yeah, it's all very plausible, and it really seems like we're beginning to tie all this information that's been happening through, you know, these first 8 episodes. It's all coming together.
So what say you guys? You know, you can basically give us a shout out to talk about anything via the TV Talk app. Let us know what you think about Lucy Brooks and where that storyline is going. Let us know if you're still on the Red is Lizzie's Father bandwagon. And of course, you want to be able to answer our talkback question for this week, which of course is, did Red kill Sam out of mercy or to protect his interests?
And remember, you need the TV Talk app to answer the question. So download it today at tvtalkapp.com from your iOS or Android device. And to answer the question, just push the talkback area in the center of the listen screen, and you're part of the show.
And if you're listening via iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, you're only getting about half the show because the talkback clips are coming up next. So you need to be sure to download the app today, or you can listen via tvtalk.com. And in the case of our show, you can go to tvtalk.com/shows/blacklist to hear those talkback clips. But until next week, because I like capitalism and the lifestyle it affords me, I'm Troy.
And I'm Dave, and join us next week as we delve ever deeper into the mind of Red Reddington and friends as we take down the members of
The Blacklist.
And now it's time for this week's talkback clips.
We hope you enjoyed this special version of The Blacklist Exposed, previously aired on the TV Talk Network and used with permission. Until next time, I'm Agent Troy Heinritz. That's at Troy Heinritz on Twitter. And if you want to learn more about me, just visit, well, about.me/Troy Heinritz.
And I'm Agent Aaron Peterson. You can hear me talking about movies and TV on the Hollywood Outsider podcast, as well as Remake This Movie Right. We are available at thehollywoodoutsiders.com or on Twitter at H_outsider. Be sure to subscribe, Download the app, submit your feedback, but most importantly, keep yourself off of
The Blacklist.
The Blacklist Exposed is a Golden Spiral Media production. Find more of our great podcasts at goldenspiralmedia.com/podcasts.